is SaaS Master. I'm here with Abhishek from Mutant Email and Sam, which is a really good friend that's going to help us out on this video. How are you doing, Abhishek?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm great. I'm great. How about you, Sam?
Good, George. How are you? This is the first time we are doing it live streaming with the founder. I believe it's the first time, so I'm very excited and looking forward for this whole
Walkthrough.
founder event. So it'll be exciting.
Exactly. So, Abhishek, what
Yeah.
is Mutant Mail? How does it help
Well,
us out? Why do we need it?
well, actually, the concept is very simple. The You get email forwardings from a lot of domain registrars, right? Or you can use any kind of forwarding service, even from your web hosting. The reason we use forwarding is because nobody wants to maintain a lot of email IDs, but we do create a lot of email IDs on each of the domain. For example, you always have webmaster, admin, info, support, legal. Can be a number of email IDs that you always create. Now, the problem is if you are let's say you don't have a dedicated email team, how do you manage those email IDs? So let's say you have 5 email IDs on a single domain, and then you have 10 websites running. That is fairly common. 10 websites is not a big deal. So you are looking at what, 50 email IDs to maintain? How do you humanly reply to all of those email IDs on a daily
Exactly.
basis? It's just not possible. That is the whole reason you use email forwarding in the first place. Now, the problem with email forwarding is you cannot reply on that. Suppose since my company is present.com, I want to reply to a mail which was sent to a legal team for present. So the way with forwarding I will do is I get a forwarded mail, let's say to my Gmail, and then again I will go back, remember my login credentials for legal at the rate present.com, and then I will search that mail and then I respond on it. That is the only flow you can do with email forwarding. I cannot reply from my Gmail saying that, hey, this is the response I want to write. Just not possible. That doesn't give you the business appearance. So what Mutant Mail does is it changes the signature, the two column in such a way that for you it appears that the email has come from whoever sent it. But when you send it, the Mutant Mail is going to sit as a gateway in between, and the response is going to go through your own domain. So the destination email or the recipient is never going to see the Gmail ID or the Hotmail ID or the Yahoo ID you have sent mail from.
Okay.
So, in a nutshell, all the email IDs are conversing into your control box, whichever email ID you choose, and then you can reply to it from a single email ID.
Right.
So, can I ask you something quick? Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt, but I do have a quick question. So, let's say I have retail outlets. I'm in Canada, so I
Okay.
have multiple email addresses for each location and the
Okay.
partners. So, if I put them all to the Mutant, and if I reply from one store, it will
Mhm.
be replying from that store, not from the different ID, right? Did I get that
Uh,
right?
i- 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 yes, that is exactly correct. So what happens is you will be getting that email, whatever. Let's say George here sent you a mail. Let's keep it very simple. George sent you a mail on support at the rate present.com.
Hmm.
Suppose that is your store name. So when you will reply to that mail, George is going to get mail from support at the rate present.com. It doesn't know what domain you sent it from. It knows the email ID, so it will act as gateway for that email ID, that particular email ID.
Okay.
So George here will never know where you responded from, but he will receive the mail exact response that you typed from support at the represent.com in this particular case.
Got it. So I'm excited to see the demo. I think you're gonna present the demo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
So,
Sure,
yeah.
sure.
So the idea of this is to save time, be more organized, and don't get distracted with so many emails. You have everything inside of Mutant Mail, and it saves you time. That's the whole concept of this. Um,
Actually, the fun part is we don't even store any kind of emails at all. Since we
okay.
wanted to keep it really simple and complete privacy focused, so whatever email ID you want to use as destination, you are free to use. We just act as a gateway and passerby. We don't store anything, we don't log anything. Only thing we take care is how many emails has been sent from that particular email ID and what was the size for email. Because in total we want to calculate the bandwidth. That's all.
Okay, great. Okay, so show us the basic settings of Mutant Mail. See, I mean, is it easy to use? Is it complex? How do we
Well,
get started?
well, it does have a couple of copy and paste steps, but apart from that, a normal person can do it pretty easy.
Yeah, basically, anyone who has worked with DNS settings knows that you got to copy some settings on CNAME, TXT, and
Correct.
basically, it's easy. So on the bottom, you're going to see a share button, and you're going to select share desktop. I think it says screen, share screen.
Yeah, just
I think we should let the users know what we are using. Or are you gonna save that for the end?
No. We should say it. So right now, what we're using is Melon, and basically, it's been pretty popular right now. That's what we're streaming with, and it's in a lifetime
yeah,
deal. So if you guys want to grab that, I'll leave the link in the description, and it works good.
Really good. The quality is awesome for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. Let me grab a domain to demonstrate how the things can be attached easily, and
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and
with
prepare.
yeah, with that we can take things forward.
For now, let me share the deal pretty quickly. Can you guys see the deal?
I won't show it on the left side. You will have a panel where
Oh
it
yeah, I
will
gotta
say
send it in.
show.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so just for now, that's the deal that's going on right now. It starts off at 59.99, and that's Mutant Mail lifetime deal. That means you pay once and use it forever. And these are the deal terms that this includes. So it allows 10 domains, 50 email IDs, 50 recipient email IDs, option to disable catch all, priority mail queue, 5 gigabytes of monthly bandwidth. So there's no storage involved in this since Abhishek says it just transfers the email. So there's no storage involved. View failed
Correct.
deliveries and configured rules. So that's the deal as of now. Again, the link will be in the description in case you guys want to check it out. Okay, let's get rid of. Here we go. You ready, Abhishek?
Uh, Okay, so I was doing a name server migration from Namecheap to Cloudflare. Apparently, nowadays things happen very fast. So
Yeah.
it did happen. Let me share screen and
Let me see over here if we got any.
okay.
Abhishek
Can you
joined.
guys
Let
can you
me
see the screen?
know. Let me see. Here we go. I'm going to show it. There we go. We're viewing it now.
All right, all right. So this is what mutant mail looks like from the inside, and this is where all your email IDs will be.
Okay.
So at the moment, you can see I have 172 email IDs active,
Okay.
and these are the destination emails. And here you can see I have what close to 12 or 14 domains at the moment
Okay. I'm
routing through
guessing.
it.
I would check. This is where we would get started in the domains,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. So I will give you an exact demo how the settings look like, how things you are going to copy paste,
Okay.
and how the domain gets attached.
All
So
right.
you
Cool.
start by clicking on this add custom domain. and I have this Cloudflare setting here. You just and I have a domain I used for long back called Happy Misty, and Misty was my cat. So I created a dropshipping store called Happy Misty, and mind it, I was able to sell a couple of items there. So let's use that domain. I don't use it anymore
Don't worry.
for
Okay, cool.
this this particular setting. So
Oh,
as soon as you click it, it will ask for your domain verification, because without verification, of course, you cannot proceed. So it will tell you that you need to add a txt record, and these are the values that you need to use. Key, this will be key and this will be value. So this
right.
particular case, we will just go and we will go to text, and we will use the host value, which is at the rate, and then we will use the value which is mute, and we saved it. Since it is Cloudflare, it should happen pretty fast.
Right.
uh,
Now, really quickly, I just want to say this. Right now, he's making the example on Cloudflare, and it also works if you have Namecheap, Hostinger, or whatever shared account, cPanel. You
yep,
just have to jump into the DNS zone settings. In this case, he's using
correct,
Cloudflare for the DNS, but same
correct.
steps.
Exact same steps. So when I clicked OK, it gave a message that the domain ownership was confirmed. It was able to verify those records on the DNS settings. So now it gave a couple more records to copy and paste, and these are needed. For example, MX records are needed because it the Mutant mail needs to receive emails for your domains on your behalf. It has
Correct.
to act as a recipient as well, and rest all the records are for sending through that particular domain, so that your what you call your emails don't land in spam, because
Correct.
the most important factor is your domain's reputation. And if your domain is new, that is the reason sometimes your emails go to spam. It is one of the most important reasons, if your domain is not having enough reputation.
Correct. So these
So
settings basically are meant to verify that you are actually using this system, in this case, Mutant Mail, to send out emails, and it knows
correct.
you are the actual owner and you have the settings for it. That's what this is for.
Yes, yes, that's about it. So let's copy one by one. uh, okay, so
Now each one is going to tell you what type of record. So in this case, he's adding the record for MX, and then you have the
correct,
settings for each one.
correct. So basically, the host becomes your host here, and it basically it is a key value pair, and this one determines the type. So I'm just going to use it. So in this particular case, it gave me gateway.cliffmail.com, and we just save it. Then we go to next one.
You have to set the priority for it. Wait, don't you jump. So you have to set the priority. Yeah, 10 or whatever you want to add.
Uh, yeah, that's okay.
There we go.
So txt.
On the SPF, you're going to notice that there's no IP, there's no other domains
Mhm.
set there. But if there were previous email providers that you were using, it's going to add it there
Mhm.
between.
Yes, yes. So you do need to put include here if you intend to use those domains for sending from some different. Let's say you are using a hosting from DreamHost, for example.
Right.
So DreamHost will be having couple of email PTR. Those are called PTR records, where they will be sending mails from. So you do need to modify this, and these all things that I'm talking about are in our knowledge base. We have a
Correct.
knowledge base on the site, and you can check that out. So basically, what it will look like is something like include, and then whatever the ptr.com record, those hosting providers will be giving you. So that way, you can send emails on your domain through them as well as from us. So
Correct.
both of them will be authorized. So in this
Exactly.
particular case, only using the demo domain. So I'm just going to copy paste whatever value it is going to give me.
Correct. Let's see. So I noticed it didn't live stream straight from the to the group, but I've shared the link to it. Did you notice that, Sam? The email. The DMARC.
So basically, there are three kinds of records that are very important for a domain email to land in not in spam, and those are SPF. Uh, those are SPF, DMARC, and
DKIM.
DKIM.
Yeah, DKIM. Yeah, the three in combination will hope that your emails when you send out don't land in spam.
Yeah, but with emails, there is almost never a guarantee that
Yeah,
your emails will never land in spam.
So the email, like sometimes they do get into a promotion or spam.
Mhm.
It's a domain reputation. You guys don't have anything to do with that, right?
No,
Like
no, no.
I'm
We
just
don't.
going like my
But in Gmail's particular case, let me tell you a trick. If you are replying from a generic name, the name matters a lot for Gmail. So let's say if you are using the name as George, and then you put a comma, and then you put a your website name, and
Hmm.
you try sending from let's say George at the rate something instead of sending from support at the rate something. So there is a higher chance it is going to land in inbox than in the promotional mail.
Okay.
okay. So that's a trick.
Yeah, that's a trick. See, those are big guys, right? They
Yeah.
determine the rules, and we just need to play by them.
Okay, so it
Okay,
means
so
we are set up.
yeah, so I, s- yeah, this needs to be done. So the MX record needs to be at the lowest priority actually,
Okay.
because whichever record on the MX side will be having lowest priority, that mail server will always be getting the emails. So
Okay.
let's check the record here. So the record was verified successfully. And you see the domain has been added here and it has a green check mark next to it.
Okay. Just quick heads up. Now, in this
Mhm.
case, it was super fast, but there are certain cases where it will take several hours for the records to update in the DNS. Some cases,
Correct.
not always.
Correct. Depends completely depends on your domain registrar actually. In most of the cases, it happens within an hour. But if your domain registrar is slow, then nobody can help with that.
Yeah,
It can, uh, going by the Bookis rule, it can take up to 72 hours for a DNS change to reflect.
right. And just a really quick tip here, and if you can't get it checked quickly, you can go into DNS Checker. I think it's
Mhm.
dnschecker.org, and you can check each one of these TXT, MX, and see if it updated there, just in case it's
Correct.
taking time. Just quick tip.
Correct. Correct. Either that or MX Toolbox works as well.
Yeah.
One of the two service. So in this particular case, it added. Now you see it has a catch-all enabled. Suppose I don't want to create email IDs manually for happymystery.com. Okay, very simple. And so I can enable the catch-all. And George, why don't you try sending me an email to something like support at the rate happymystery.com?
Let me see how the domain is spelled.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Support at, and let me see the stream. Happymisty.com. Okay.
Yes.
Misty, let me see. Happy Misty. Okay. That's the email. Okay, sending over. Okay,
All
sent.
right.
Let's wait for
Let's
that.
give it. Yeah. Let's
A
give it
couple
a
of minutes.
minute. Yeah. Usually it is pretty fast.
Yeah, just George, can you stop sharing the screen, or maybe he can switch the screen because it's
It's doing the
there you
vortex
go. Perfect.
look. So let me know when you receive it.
Yeah.
So basically, what's gonna happen right now is that you created a catch-all email, right? Because you didn't create a
Yes.
support at happymisty.com. So it's just going to catch it
Correct.
because any alias that I use at happymisty.com is going to arrive into Mutant Mail.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you switch to my screen, please?
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So you sent just writing test mail, right?
Yeah, that's what
To
I sent
support at the, yeah.
from
And
my
you
Gmail.
sent it from your Gmail ID.
Correct.
And this is my Gmail ID. So I have received it here. And when I will respond to it, uh, let's say email reply. Okay. So you will get the mail from this particular email ID. As simple as that.
So
And you replied from your
My
Gmail.
Gmail ID.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's cool. Okay. So for that. Haven't got it yet.
Yeah, it might take a minute or two.
Yeah. Fresh.
so I am a bit lost. Sorry, guys. Um,
No. Ask away because many people might be in the same situation. So
so
Yes,
I
sure, sure.
so I did the domain part. I saw the domain part.
Okay.
George did send you an email. You got it
Mm-hmm.
on Gmail. How did you end up getting it in Gmail?
Okay, okay, okay. Fair enough.
that's where you got
Let...
lost. Just
all right, all right.
really quickly, let me
Abhishek joined.
hold on. Let me.
One second, guys.
Okay. Okay, really quickly, just want to show that I received the response from Abhishek.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's a response. And this is the email from the one I've sent.
Okay.
So even though he
Correct.
didn't create support at happymisty.com, he received it as a catch-all. And
Mm-hmm.
it got replied from that domain actually, and that alias of email, even though it's not even created. So
Yeah,
that's, I
and
mean,
you
that's
and you
interesting.
and you can try looking for my Gmail ID in that mail. You will nowhere find it.
Okay. Okay, you want to show us something,
Yeah,
Abhishek?
sure. I do need to. So since that created an email ID, it will increase my counter by one. Alias counter or email ID
Okay.
counter. So it was 172, it increased to 173. And now I have that email ID created. It creates on the first email it receives. And of course, I can deactivate it, I can delete it, and I can do a lot of things if I
Okay.
don't want to use this email ID anymore. So every time my email ID is deleted or put on inactive mode, emails are blocked. So
Okay.
basically, they will not be forwarded. Difference between inactive and delete is if you do inactive, it will silently discard it, and if you delete it, there will be a strong mail. There will be a what you call the response will be sent to the sending email provider that this email ID does not exist. So it's basically your choice if you want to discard that mail completely, or you just want to pause it on a temporary basis. Now, coming to
Now
the
that
part
you've,
how
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
now coming to the part how the mapping was done between the email ID and the domain. So it is in your inbox. So you see, I have two email IDs here, and you can add a third one. I will put just a Gmail ID or a Yahoo ID or whatever email ID I want to use, and I will click on add recipient. What it will do is it will send a unique link to your email ID, whichever you want to use, to ensure that you own it. And you need to click on that link, and that email ID will have a verified check mark next to it
So that's
once
how
the
you got it on
process is
your
done.
Gmail. That's how you got
Correct.
it on your
So
Gmail. Oh,
correct. Now
right.
look at the fun part. Since I have two email IDs here, I can show you.
Mhm.
Uh, Instead of this, it is it. I can just click on this, and now it will send to my other email ID and not that email ID. I can
Got
just
it.
swap it here.
But
And if I want to receive it on both email IDs, that also I can do.
okay. But by default was sending it to which ID though?
Correct. It will send it to default email ID, uh,
Which
because
was
this is the
that makes
default.
sense.
So
And
that
if you will
I think
go,
that's pretty interesting how that's possible, because basically you can go ahead and set up your domains on Mutant Mail, set up
Mhm,
the inbox where you're going to receive these emails, and you
mhm.
don't have to go to Mutant Mail every single time. You're going to do everything
Yeah,
from the email that you set, your inbox, your Gmail,
yeah,
your Hotmail, your Outlook, whatever you're going to use. So set
yeah,
and forget, basically. Okay.
yeah, exactly. See, that was the thing we had in mind when we built it. Even though we have a good, I won't say it is the best interface, but it is pretty decent interface. And we wanted to ensure that once you set things up, you should never go and touch it unless you really need to make some sort of admin sort of changes, or you want to block something, or you want to do any kind of changes uh, that are more from a management perspective, not on a daily to daily basis. I
Yeah.
mean, we already use what I actually use close to 6 emails that I check on a regular basis. Many email IDs I will check on a regular basis. Just not possible.
Yeah, same here. I got my SaaS master, I got my marketing company, I got my personal email, I have my, I don't know, like 30 domains and a bunch. And
Uh,
if this will save me time. I mean, I at first I thought that we'd have to jump into Mutant Mail to go reply and do all of that.
mhm.
But with this example that you can just do it from Gmail, I can set everything on Mutant Mail and forget about it,
Yeah,
is amazing.
yeah.
I can't hear you, Sam.
The email
There,
that
there.
Abhishek replied, that email is not showing the Gmail. It was showing the email that you send it to, right? Support.
Correct. The,
Oh,
the
makes
the
sense.
inbox he's using is never shown. There's no trace of it.
Makes sense.
And I mean, and the other cool thing about it is that it created the alias even though it
Mhm.
didn't existed. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
like
mean,
that. And
it is
no, go ahead.
users' choice completely. If they don't want a catch mail, because sometimes the spammers target the catch mail domains. That is why we have that inactive and delete feature. So if you don't want it, you just need to switch off one switch, just disable catch all. And we do have ex- a lot of settings here. Uh,
Oh, I think a really good, interesting settings would be the rules, the
haha.
conditional logic. I mean, I think that's going to be really interesting. Can
Yes,
you give us a little?
we will come to it. At the
Okay,
moment, it is on a what you call it is
development.
in the simplest format. No, no, no. It works. It completely works. But we have very limited set of rules at the moment there. And I will go to that. Let me just go through the settings once.
Okay.
So this one will give you the estimate of how much limit you have crossed. So at the moment, I have applied myself 20 GB of limit, and once you are close to that limit, once you have used 90%, Mutant Mail will trigger a alert stating that you are about to go over your limit, and every month we reset it on the first calendar day.
Okay.
The reason is we cannot have a rolling window because we don't log how much data you have sent on which day. We just increment a counter to maintain the bandwidth. That's all.
Right. Abhishek, just to let users know, basically,
Mhm.
an email with text, it's not even 1 MB, right?
Yeah, just to look at this. I have received what? Uh, 2000 emails approximately, and it has costed me 22 MB of data.
Right. So just to people get an idea of how much usage on bandwidth is going to get. Basically, it's nothing because
Yeah.
on your deal that you have live, you have 5 GB of monthly bandwidth, which is
Yes.
more than enough.
Yes. And if you want to send attachments, we do allow that. The limit on them is actually 10 MB
Okay.
because we wanted to ensure that the system doesn't get misused. And in most of the cases, the system is built for replying fast. And in that particular case, there is hardly a situation where you have to send a attachment which is more than of 10 MB of size. But of course, if we get a demand for that kind of thing, we can think about upgrading the limit there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where you set the default email actually, where you asked what is the default email, and you can switch between whichever email ID to be default.
All right.
Okay, and uh, these are not that important. And of course, if you want privacy, we have PGP and GPG encryptions that you can implement on each and every email. But then, of course, you will have to go to some kind of service to decrypt all of them because even your Gmail won't be able to read the data.
Okay.
But and you want two-factor authentication and all those settings are also there because now these things have become standard. And we do have API in progress. The API system works, but we have not documented it completely at the moment. So in future, there can be apps which are built on Mutant Mail.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So you wanted to know about the rules, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So rules are pretty basic at the moment. You can specify the condition for sender, subject, and alias, and of course, simple rule formats there.
Right.
And based on that, you can choose to have your PGP encryption off or block the email or couple
Right.
of
So, for
things.
example, a really simple use case: if
Mm-hmm.
the subject contains
Mm-hmm.
sell, promotion,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
whatever, you know that you don't want any of those emails, well,
Uh-huh.
you can send it
Yeah.
to the blocked mail. That could be a simple
Yeah.
condition that you can create.
Correct. Or you can just simply block it.
Yep. So if the subject contains any of those words, can you add or and
Yes.
on the condition? So, for example, if we could say promotion on the value and
Yes,
add another
yes,
value.
you can. So you just do insert. So these are all, or uh, what else did you say?
For this, for example,
Sales.
it could be a combination or
Yes.
any of those. Okay, so that's
So
or.
bas yeah. So this is or, and you click on the add condition, and this will become and.
Okay. Yeah. So the way that works is that right now the way he has it set it up is that if the subject contains promotion or sale, it's going
Mhm.
to send it to the block email. Okay.
Yes.
Another type of condition would be and. What does that mean?
Mhm.
So if the subject contains promotion and you can add that there, another subject,
Yes.
um, sell. Yeah,
Yes.
insert. So in this case, it has to be the combination of both to trigger the next action, which is block the email. So there's two
Yes.
types. There's or and in conditional logic.
Yes. That is correct, George.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you have some nice features. I don't know why you're saying you want that's pretty basic.
It is basic because when people look at rules, even I have a lot of very complicated rules in my Outlook. So I was referring from that perspective. But
Okay,
this
okay,
feature at the moment, it does work. And it is
great.
actually limited to only paid users.
Okay,
of questions regarding the storage limit, right? If
Mhm.
you are not storing anything, why you limiting the storage, like the like attachment limits? Because of
So
the bandwidth.
because of the bandwidth.
Okay.
See, actually, these hosting servers we are using are unmetered actually,
Mhm.
but the postfix, the email server that we are using behind the scene, every time a huge attachment is sent through it, it takes a minute or it takes couple of seconds, couple of
Mhm.
cycles to pass
Mhm.
through. So it will be unfair for other users to wait because there are only a limited number of threads it will process at a certain time. It is limited by the number of threads. So we don't want to hog it unless there is real need for it. If we get a lot of emails from our customers that they are using on a daily basis a email which is more than 10 MB of size, we can increase it. It's just a setting in our side.
So let's. What's the industry level like? For example, like Gmail. Like, what's there usually a limit of attachment? Do you know?
I think on Gmail it is 50 MB or somewhere around that.
So
I
would
think
you
it's
consider
20 or 25, and after that, it has
Okay.
to upload on the Google
Google Drive
Drive.
on a Google Drive? So
Yeah.
would you consider like something like this, at least so people have uh, like at least have an industry level, like
Yes, we, we
not
we
limit, right?
can do that.
Because see, sometime if somebody is like sending attachment and if they're limited, like nowadays, like there's a PDF documents, right? That people
Hmm.
get a lot of, and they're not like just like there's sometimes single page, but there's if you have a contracts and stuff like that, you
Correct,
get a lot
correct.
of pages in there, right? So
Correct. And if they are containing high quality images, then yeah, definitely they are going to grow bigger and bigger. So if that is the case, there is always option to share a link inside instead of putting them as attachment.
uh-huh.
But yeah, in future we might consider that.
So let's say if somebody does attach over 10 megabyte of file,
Mhm.
what will happen? Like, will they get a like a failure,
They
like
will get, yes, they will get a error message.
error
They
message?
will get a response. Yeah, they will get a response back on whichever control inbox they initiated the mail from,
Mhm.
stating that you went oversize.
Okay. So what about the other end when somebody is replying to the email? Uh,
Oh, they will also get. They will also get. Let's
so
say
let's say you
someone
when
was
you
saying.
replied, sorry, when you replied from your Gmail and you attach a 20 megabyte because Gmail does allow
Mhm.
20 megabyte or whatever their limit,
Correct.
that
Correct.
would be fine, right?
No, that won't be fine
It's over
because
10.
yeah, so basically the mutant mail is sitting in between, right? So you will get a mail from mutant mail, and the mail ID will be notification at the rate mutantmail.com, and it will state that this server cannot accept this mail size.
Okay.
It
So
has it. Yeah.
so how George send you the email first time, and let's say if he
Mhm.
would had attached over 10 megabyte file, he it
Uh-huh.
will not go through.
No, he will receive a response that the size is bigger.
Vice versa, doesn't matter, it will not go
Yes,
through.
yes, yes, yes.
That's
Because the reason is simple, right? Because it is all the both side communication is passing through our postfix email server. So whoever is going to attempt it, or for us, actually, in reality, all the users are client. Doesn't matter which side of the system they are sitting onto. It's just one side of the people sitting are our customers, and the other side are their customers. But from email server's perspective, both side are clients. So for both of them, they will get a response stating that, hey, you have tried to send an email which is over limit.
Okay.
I do have one more question. So let's say,
Sure, sure.
sorry, George, I just
No,
this is
go for
for
it.
my
Go for it.
own use case. So let's say if I own bunch of domains too as well, but I
Mhm.
but obviously we don't use all of them. For for some domains that I use, I have multiple
Uh-huh.
emails, right?
Okay.
And I have multiple people who are using it.
Hmm.
So how do I use this tool? Like, can it is it possible that all the emails that are coming are
Hmm.
come to me, but they also go to their respective owners. Like for example, like
Yes, yes, yes. Answer is yes. Simple yes. The reason is, you remember I showed you the destination mail thing. Let me go back to that.
oh, I can
So,
set it up for them too. That's what you mean.
yeah, here. You see
Oh,
that? This is one email ID.
hey, George, can you share the screen, please?
Going. There we
Left.
go.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I can add
So,
them here. Okay, I got it.
yeah, so you have one, right? You attach another one. And then let's say you have third one, you attach third one. This is exactly where the recipient email ID thing limit kicks in. So that is the limit of how many email IDs you can have here in total.
Oh, okay. I get
Okay,
it.
so yeah, so basically, let's say you want to run you are, suppose you are the admin of 50 sites, just for a simple use case example, and you have a support email on all 50 domains. So you can receive one mail for every email ID, every support email ID that you are having, and as well as it can go to your support team. uh, let's say you have only one support team which manages for all your e-commerce stores, so you will receive a copy and they will receive a copy, and of course either you can reply or they can reply, doesn't matter who want to reply.
Okay,
It works.
got it.
Right. Well, any other question, Sam?
No,
Oh,
sorry.
oh
No,
Oh,
I
we
think
got
I'm
a question here from Michael Norris. Can
okay.
you guys see it on screen?
yes, we
Yeah,
can.
I can. Yeah. Are you able to use Mutant Pay to reply to emails, or can you send? No, you can send an email as well. You don't have to just reply. You can initiate the conversation as well. But for that to happen, you need to understand the format in which the uh, two thing in your emails are formed. To make things simple, let's say we can come here.
Hold
Am I
on.
still said? Okay. So you can come to any email ID you want to send mail from, and you just click on generate to. And let's say I want to send it to example@example.com, and it will give me this. So this is the destination you need to send email to.
Okay. So that's like a quick, I would just say short link to
Yes,
use
yes,
that email.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, but after a while you will get used to this format, and you don't need to use this particular tool to start sending or start initiating the conversation. After a while you will start creating them on the fly, and start initiating the conversation instead of just replying to it.
Okay. Okay. And the other part of that question is there a limit per hour per day?
No, no, we don't have any limit for how many emails you are uh, sending.
Okay.
We just have a yeah, I don't think we throttle anything actually. We only
Okay.
throttle how many email IDs you can create per hour, and that is set at a very high limit. That is sitting at, I think, 30 email IDs or 40 email IDs per hour
Okay.
per user.
But
So that
I'm guessing just to make sure that obviously if you abuse the system, then you're out, right? Just like any other platform,
correct.
right? Yeah.
So
So we just want to ensure one user is not hogging the complete system. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, no
Because
abuse. That's
basically,
but
I can eliminate like having an email hosting with this. Can I? Can
yes,
I say
you
that?
don't need to, you don't that is actually one of the point. You don't need to pay for email hosting at all, because you can use your Gmail ID to do everything. Gmail ID has a limit of what? Whatever the limit is of your Google Drive. So
Exactly.
I
it
think
is
it's 5 emails maximum on
Not
five
Gmail.
emails. No,
no,
no, no,
not the
no,
emails. We
no,
are
no.
talking about the like
Uh,
instead of having a
Total
hosting, right?
size. Yeah.
Storage size.
Correct. So it is the size of your Google Drive actually, because once your Google Drive gets full, you will start getting emails from Gmail or notifications stating that you cannot receive any more Gmail. Happened with me.
Okay.
I
Um,
actually managed to reach the limit.
So it's interesting what
But
you just mentioned about not needing an email hosting provider.
Mhm.
exactly.
Yes,
You can use this with your Gmail and add
correct.
all your custom domains emails to
Yes,
Mutant Mail.
Yeah, like
yes,
even like for a business, I say like you create another email account, like a personal email account, and you can just link that email account to the Mutant email, and then that's it.
yes, yes,
You
yes.
eliminate the whole.
That is why we are calling it a single inbox for all domains. Doesn't
Nice.
This is actually
matter
pretty
how many
interesting.
domains.
I get it. I get it. So, I also wanted to talk on George. I think if you are planning to do any stacking, like I know you have one single code right now on AppSumo. Um, are you allowing like people to stack codes?
No, not at the moment. Uh, we do have plans for that, but at the moment we wanted to dip our toe in water, see how our system handles the load that we are going to get. That is
Mhm.
why we only have very limited quotes on AppSumo. We don't want to go full fledged and bet everything on it. We want to
Okay, that's
see the system is ready for a huge performance test or not. And yeah, if we will scale it, if we run into issues, we will scale it, of course. But we are just trying out the our partner as well, not just our system.
interesting. Okay. We have another question here from Michael Morris. Norris. Yeah.
Mhm.
Can you blind carbon copy emails through Mutant Mail to send to multiple recipients in one email going to everyone?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Not at the moment. This is a limitation at the moment, and this is not achievable. But we are working on putting this kind of setting in place. It is not ready for production use yet.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Sam, that you might have? So stacking is you're muted, Sam. You're muted.
Sorry. I'm just keep getting messages from
Yeah.
all the
Don't worry.
LTD community that how can you also share the live in their groups and stuff like that, and they're like because I've been attending few events already,
Okay. You should send out the,
and
the, the invite.
they're like you are everywhere right now. So it's uh, did I hear as a giveaway too?
Oh,
Yeah,
we did.
so
Okay.
we
It's
we
something
we
important.
want to start it actually. Uh, we want to start it on King Sumo actually,
Hmm.
but we have not started it yet. We intend to do that, and we want to. The plan which is live on AppSumo is our gold plan actually, and we do have a diamond plan. It is on subscription basis only at the moment. Depending on how things we get, how the audience response we receive, we will scale it further or we will downscale it. And the giveaway we plan to give for our diamond plan.
Oh, cool. Cool. Okay. Um, I have a question from on the group. It says, "Is this an alternative to Thunderbird?"
Uh, yes and no. See, Thunderbird is just a email client. Thunderbird is, in simplest word, just a what your Outlook does, or whatever email client you prefer. There are thousands of them nowadays. So this one is a server-side solution. So if you want to use Thunderbird, you can still use it with Mutant Mail, because Mutant Mail is going to ensure that the mapping is maintained whenever you send a reply. So doesn't matter you use, for example, in this case, Gmail. You use Thunderbird for Gmail, it will still work for you, because everything that Gmail's mailbox can, your email client can. So it is not a replacement. It is a complete server-side solution. You can use it on the webmail, you can use it on the client, or you can use it anywhere your inbox supports.
Okay. Okay. So we have another question from Lloyd Sato. Why the limit in bandwidth?
Well, just to keep things fair and just to ensure that the customers don't break things.
Exactly.
As simple as that. As simple as that. It is just to ensure our systems don't break at the moment.
Right. So we have another question from Peter Williams. He says, any API integration with Optinly?
No, we don't have. We have API in place, but we don't have API integration with anything at the moment.
Right.
But we do
So
have plans
Peter,
for that.
just to have this clear, you can set up the API integration with an automation system like Zapier, Pabbly, Integromat, and then integrate with Optinly. But the API is available, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. What else do we have here? Quick question. For example, is the API going to be available for LTD buyers?
Yes, it will be available. Just I don't have a documentation in place sadly at the moment. I'm
No
going
worries.
to do that.
No
Things
worries.
are just this launch actually came sort of as a surprise. This on AppSumo we have been trying to get listed from past 1 month. The submission
Okay.
was 1 month back, and then yesterday they mailed and they said either you want to go live tomorrow or we need to postpone it for 1 more week.
No, let's
So
do it
I
now. You
said,
said.
let's do it now. The system works, and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And we have that other question. What are you planning to integrate with? Like, what plans do you have?
Well, in future we can integrate it to any kind of system. Actually, if you want to do email marketing, you can attach it with that. Let's say you get any kind of a reply back. See, when you do cold mailing or when you do email bulk sending, you expect couple of responses back, right? So
Okay.
how do you reply to those responses? You don't want to go and reply from your Gmail or a single ID, right? Because you do send from a lot of email IDs. You can be sending from George 1 and you can be sending from George 5 as well. So
Okay.
there, Mutant Mail can help you. And there are a lot more things I don't want to disclose at the moment because I don't know how those features are going to turn out. So if I commit something, I would rather under commit and over deliver rather than stating something, okay, we might have this and things don't turn out good, because that is not good for uh, a new company too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, right now there's a lot of uncertainties of what's going to happen or what route you're going to take, especially since you're going to get a lot of feedback from this AppSumo launch that you did. Some people
Mhm.
might want
Yeah,
another route that you haven't thought about and you think it's interesting.
correct,
So it might change a bit what you're going to integrate with.
correct.
So we have another question from Nilesh Mature. He
Okay.
says, I have to use Gmail SMTP to use to send emails.
Mhm.
And the question is, no, you just have to verify the email, right?
Yeah. We don't have a SMTP at all because we don't store your emails at all. We don't want to bother with your privacy concerns and your private data. That is the reason we don't even ask for your name actually when you sign up. All we want is, hey, where do you want to send these emails to? That's all we ask for.
Okay, okay, yeah. Fair enough. Okay, here's another question from Michael Norris.
Okay.
If I have an hourly email send limit that Gmail has, if I use my email,
No, it won't. The reason is simple because you are actually sending a mail from Gmail to Mutant Mail server so that it can be forwarded both ways to your customer or whoever you are replying to. So a email is actually being sent from Gmail to Mutant Mail on whatever domain you are using. So the limit of Gmail or any email provider you are using is still going to apply.
cool, cool. Okay, next question we have is from Marco. Does it also work if you have place my DNS from my hosting company to another hosting company? The answer would be
Mm,
yes, I guess.
yes, it will work. See, it doesn't matter what DNS you are using or what DNS provider you are using or where your domain registrar is. As long as you have option to add the TXT record, CNAME record, and MX record in whatever panel you are getting, things will
Right.
work.
So it doesn't matter if your domain is on Namecheap Hostinger and you're using
Yeah.
another DNS system. It doesn't matter. As
Yeah.
long as you can set up your DNS, that's all
Yes.
you need.
Um,
Okay.
Abhishek, I have
Okay.
one question.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure. Please.
So let's say I understand that the emails comes to my Gmail or whichever email I use. Let's say
Okay.
if I do still want to use my like uh, Gmail, but I want to use my own like yeah, what do you call webmail
Okay.
or not webmail? I want to say webmail. Like I use MacBook, right? So I want to
Okay.
look in for my MacBook. Can I
You
set
want to call email?
email or like what do you call the mail for MacBook
Okay.
OS, right?
Okay.
So can I
Okay.
use that not for Gmail for my actual
Hmm.
email address? Can I put
Mm,
those SMTP settings and stuff like that or no? That's
you can. So
so which
see,
SMTP setting I'm going to be putting in
whi-
from
whichever you
middleman?
are for, whichever you are forwarding your see the you need with Mutant Mail you need a destination email. It
Mhm.
can
Right.
be Gmail, it can be Apple account, it can be Hotmail, it can be Yahoo Mail, or it can be a domain you have not attached with Mutant Mail. It can be anything. Destination can be absolutely any email ID.
I get
Let,
it. I
let
think my
me
question doesn't even make sense, to be honest with you.
So
But that's fine.
let me help out with that.
whatever SMTP settings you want to put into your client, you will
I
put
get
for
it.
that destination email
I get
ID.
it. Sorry.
Let me try to explain that in a
No,
simple
I
form.
think I get it.
Yeah,
As
but just for in case for
everything that question makes sense. But I think
just
if
in case for other
people have
users,
questions,
just in case someone else has that doubt.
yeah.
So what Sam is saying is, let's just say I'm using my native email client from my MacBook, or I'm using Outlook or whatever, and I don't want to use Gmail. Yes, that's possible. The email that you have from your domain has to be hosted somewhere. So, for example, if I have it hosted on my shared hosting, I'll add the SMTP settings from my shared hosting into my native email client or Outlook or Thundermail or whatever I'm going to use. And then I'll add that email on Mutant Mail. And it's going to work the same way as the example we saw on Gmail.
Perfect. Okay, I
Correct.
got it. So
Okay, we
that's actually
have.
a good explanation.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that is why I said it is actually a very simple solution to a very nagging problem. I will tell you why we built it. We received a DMCA complaint like 6 or 8 months back, and our hosting gave us time deadline of 18 hours. Either we had to fix the problem and respond, and we failed to check our legal emails. We were supposed to check it on a daily basis, and three of our servers were taken down for a couple of hours. We had to work with them, pay them the restart charge, and so on and so forth. Just because we failed to reply in a timely manner. That is the reason we built all this. That is
All
what
right.
kicked in.
We have another question from Peter Williams, which is saying deliverable tester included. Is that added there?
Okay. Uh, no, it is not there. But there's nothing stopping you to test it on mail tester
Okay.
because you can initiate a mail, you can generate a two field. So you generate it for mail tester domain or whichever email ID they give you and test it there. We don't have it at the moment.
Okay, so Nilesh is saying currently Gmail allows you to use their SMTP, but companies like
Mhm.
ImproveMX also includes their own SMTP in the subscription, similar to Muin is offering. So you want to use the
See, the reason they give it is because they are storing your emails. We are not
right.
storing your emails. We don't want to be concerned about that. we
Right.
there is already an email provider. I'm like 500% sure everyone has an email provider who they love and they trust blindly. It can be any email provider in the world. So
Correct.
we don't want to go there and touch it. You use your existing email provider, and we will just act as facilitator in between.
So Shenakiswara. I don't know how to say his name. Anyway, you can say.
Yeah. Chana.
Chinakiswara. Okay, oh
Shenak.
my
All
god.
right.
Okay.
So
All right.
he's saying try to consider 25 megabytes attachment limit to match with general email
Okay.
service Gmail.
True. I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Me too. That
Yeah.
that would be a
I
plus.
agree.
Well, if it will be a unanimous,
it,
what do you call it? Uh,
You're going to consider it.
request we get, we are definitely going to not just consider it. If we get really a lot of requests like that, we are going to do it. For us, it is just a switching a flip switch, and
switches.
the it's it's just a setting where we can change it on the server side. But if there will be a requirement for it, we will definitely do it.
Because I don't even know if on AppSumo page you do have this mention or no.
No,
If
we
you do
don't have.
mention it, then people will ask for it because sometimes people don't know, and if they don't know, they
Uh-huh.
will not ask.
Sure.
Can I use Marco is asking, can I use it in conjunction with simple login, also an AppSumo deal?
Okay, I don't know what that is, so let me just Google it real quick.
Simple
Yeah, I mean,
login.
I don't know either. So
See,
simple login,
I
open
have heard
source,
of it actually.
anonymous email service.
blocked.
You have to check the concept to see if that's possible.
To be honest, I am still confused what that service is doing.
Exactly.
I'm just looking at the front page. I'm still confused what that service is doing.
Yes, it's
Uh,
Felipe. It's Melon. Yes, buddy.
It's Melon and it's been smooth. Okay. Let's see. Can you use it when you use alias? I think he's asking. It's a conjunction with a previous email, with a previous
can you,
question.
when you use alias,
Can you use it when you use alias?
it depends on what your alias is doing. See, at the
Yeah,
end of day, you it has to be email ID where we are going to send mail to. If that is a forwarding email, that works. I don't see a reason why it won't work.
correct. So Felipe is congratulating you. He's saying they are routing emails. That's clever. And yes, that's a clever move.
Yeah, see in the as a new company or as a small company, you definitely don't want to be caught up in the privacy battle or
Correct.
people are raising privacy concern. That is one of the last thing you want to do.
Exactly. So Lloyd is asking, just curious question. Where are the
Yeah,
servers located?
so the servers are at the moment located in Germany. We do have a couple of servers in US as well, but our main server at the moment is located in Germany.
Cool. Okay. What else? So Felipe says, cool. All right. So Nilesh saying, please check this. Why SMTP would be a good idea to be included. Nilesh, the idea he's not including it. I mean, he's mentioned it a couple of times. Is because the company is not storing anything. It's just it's how would you call it? It's a landing point to jump to them to send you the emails, but it's not storing anything for security reasons. Correct?
Yes, that is correct. So see, even if we provide SMTP, what do we provide in that? Because we don't have a storage. So
It's
I
a
mean,
smart idea. I think people are having a hard time to understand. I had the same issue. Sorry, go ahead.
no. See, I mean, I'm all in for providing SMTP server, but what will you do with that SMTP
Now, you
server?
don't need a SMT server. That's the thing. I get it.
Yeah, you don't need it, and you don't want to. And I mean, as a personal suggestion, go through all that trouble of doing all those modifications when you can just use your own Gmail or a hosting on your shared hosting or another type of plan that you're using and have everything located
Yeah.
there.
There is no point since we are routing both ways. There is just no use case or no need for a SMTP server in the first place.
Okay.
If we would have stored, it would have made sense.
Can we, George? I think there's a lot of questions that are coming in. Oh my god. Um,
If you have questions, go ahead and just say who they're from and say
no,
them.
I'm just trying to understand if we can go through the AppSumo plan again, because
Yeah.
I'm seeing is 10 allowed domain, 50 email IDs,
Mhm.
50 recipient email IDs. So what I understand is 10 domain, which is makes sense. Then
Okay.
50 email IDs. So is it each email ID for each domain, or is it like like all
No,
together?
that is the total. That is all together.
That is
So in general, yes, in general,
right.
and that is not a random number actually. The way we came out with 50 is because five email IDs I definitely needed for each of your domain. So we are giving 10 domains. So it makes sort of sense that we should give you 50 email IDs.
Yes and no, because see, five email IDs. Let's say if you have one domain and one company domain,
Mhm.
like you take one info and one support, and there's like one founder and the support team. So
Correct.
I think you should increase that. But I've been greedy, and that's
No,
how
no, 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 no.
my
See,
ability is, right.
Yeah.
we
I
are
think
we are
average.
still we are
Uh,
still
uh,
shaping the product, right?
Okay.
So the limits are not hard limits. The things that we have given or we have mentioned, all kind of limits. These are not set in stone at the moment. We are going to improve upon what the feedback comes,
Okay.
and we are going to see how the users are actually using the system, and
Yeah.
based on that we will take a decision if we want to up those limit, down those limit, or what we want to do with those.
or ad stacking.
Or
Yeah,
there's another option that says recipient. Recipient is the one who's getting the email, right? That's what it is.
correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. So if we what's the math here? So we got, you said five email IDs per domain.
Hmm. Hmm.
Actually, it's, yeah, which makes sense. And then 15 recipient would be how many? Okay. Now I'm just trying to do the math.
1.5, so basically more than one. So if for per domain, if you want to send to more than one, you want, let's
So you
say,
are giving five extra basically.
correct, correct.
Yeah, but
Because you may be horizontally dividing it into groups, right? You
yeah,
might be
no.
wanting to, and to be honest, I have yet to see people use more than 10 recipient email IDs, because the whole point of using the system is you control it from minimum inbox possible.
Mm. But I think the, like, see, for like, see, I always bring my own use case. So right now, like, we have
Okay.
what, 13 emails for
Haha.
one domain, 13 or 14
Okay.
emails, and then
Okay.
we have about I would say 10 10 recipient who would like
Hmm.
to receive the emails. So
Okay.
I think I'll be done with one code. I'm done already, right? Because
Yes.
like, we have each location will have one email for the store and one for the owner, and then
Mhm.
five store will have 10 recipient, right?
Correct.
So yeah, I think we have to work on this. Let's say what people say and what kind of uh, what people want, right?
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
feedback.
feedback.
Uh, so sometimes what happens is from our servers or for whatever reason, a delivery failed. Like for example, I have been getting some kind of special email from Canva, and that keeps on landing in my delivery failure. Not because our server was not able to send it, but Gmail says that Canva is sending a mail which is not acceptable by their own domain, as it is treating it as spam. So any kind of those scenario, if we have a technical fault and that email was not sent, it is a detailed report of why it was not able to send. It will exactly tell you that it is this kind of problem we encountered, or Gmail actively refused to accept it, or whatever kind of problem you landed with.
Correct.
And
Okay.
it is not just going to sit there. You will also receive a mail that a delivery has failed, just to make sure you are notified that a failed delivery has happened on either side, and you should know about.
Great. We also have another question from Marco. What have you done about security? Like, what kind of security
Okay.
measures have you implemented?
Okay, now security comes at two fronts, right? It What kind of security we are talking about? If you're talking about the user level security, we do have two-factor authentication and all those things. If you're talking about email privacy, we have PGP and GPG encryptions. So that will pretty much guarantee nobody can ever tamper with your email. But of course, you will have to go and decrypt those emails when you receive it. And if you're talking about spams and that kind of security, we use R spam D service, which is a uh, what you call industry standard, and that will filter most of the domains. It will filter all the email servers which don't have PTR records, which don't have proper TLS records, and basically which is something not of industry standard. We are going to drop all those emails so you don't land up with junk emails.
Right. We got that down. And I'm guessing that's all the questions for now. I'm just gonna, okay. Any other question you have, Sam?
No, I think I think I understand pretty good now. Thank you
All
very much.
right.
Appreciate it.
Right.
So, just in a nutshell, just to sum this up of Mutant Mail, basically it's an email capturing system that's going to forward your emails and send emails for you, so you can have all your multiple email from your multiple domains inside of Mutant Email. And you can use your Gmail, your Outlook, your Thundermail, your whatever email client you want to use. And from there, you're going to receive and send emails, and you don't have to go into Mutant Email every single time. So you just set up, and you can forget about it. That's how you would say it. And
Yeah.
a really big important thing is that you don't need a hosting provider to use this.
Correct.
So let's just say I just bought a domain and I don't have a BPS, I don't have a shared hosting, I don't have an email hosting. Well, I don't need it. I can use something like Gmail to grab those emails,
Correct.
just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that, which is awesome. I think it's in terms of like you save a lot of money, like just on the hosting cost. Like if you are using AWS or something that doesn't provide email hosting that comes with it, right? You can buy, and like I'm using different platform for email hosting. Like I'm paying separately, and I
Mhm.
think people will like in my company will appreciate that they are using Gmail, and because it
Yeah,
costs about like $10 a month or something.
Yeah.
It's not expensive, but I think it does become expensive when you have like 15, 20, or 30 emails, right? So
Correct.
it's good. It looks good. The
Yeah.
product looks good.
And look on the fun part actually. You don't have to remember so many user ID and passwords for each of your email IDs
True.
actually.
Very true. Very true.
yeah. It's a time
You
saver and it helps you
surprising.
organize.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped about this deal.
So I think. What do you think, George?
What do I think? I think a lot of things, but Really quickly, just let me show you what Marco said. Is my email reputation separate from yours? And yes, it should.
Should,
Yes, it is. See, the emails, the most important reputation for an email is the domain reputation. There is some factor for the IP reputation as well, but the most important factor is your domain reputation. If your domain reputation is good, your emails will almost always land in inbox, depending on how many cold mails you have done before from that domain. But yeah, your domain reputation is of utmost important when you are sending any kind of email. Same goes with our system. We are going to use our IP, but it is going to carry your domain reputation. So if you have a very high domain reputation, it is going to make it to inbox.
So
Right.
I do have one question. Sorry, I just want to be on safe side. So because he mentioned this, so
Mhm.
sometimes people do use a shared hosting, and that provides you the email. The email comes with it, like unlimited email and stuff, right? And
Mhm.
because of their hosting provider, depending on who it is and which server they're on, you get spam emails,
Yes.
right? So in this situation, we don't have to worry about any of this, or because I think that's the thing. It's just how much, like, I know you're not storing any data, but how much?
We do have filters. See, the first level check is already happens at rspamd, which is almost at par with spam assassin, or even better than that actually. We did try with experiment with spam assassin d, uh, the filter, spam filter, but we choose to go with r spam d. And the reason for that is most of these junk senders you are talking about, they don't bother to set a PTR record because they can't. They use a cheap hosting service and they start sending emails. So they don't have a valid PTR record. They don't have a SSL. Sometimes they have a SSL in place, but not always. They don't
Mhm.
have a valid TLS in place. So all these checks happen before the email passes through our system. If any kind of things are not set up properly, it will be blocked at our server itself. And in case the filter is good, suppose the filter passed, but you don't want those kind of emails, you have rules, right? You can go and set rules based on uh, your whoever you are receiving email from, or from the subject name, or so on and so forth. You can block them at our server itself. You don't have to go and block it on your destination email server.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
So we have Marco asking, I don't know these terms, TOTP and
So
PGP.
yeah, so TOTP is basically your two-factor authentication. So we
Okay.
do have that, and PGP is your privacy good. Basically, it's encryption. So we do have PGP as well.
Okay. Great. And question from Marco: how are the details displayed when the mail is received by the customer?
Exactly as you would have sent. There is no difference.
Right. There we go. All right. So I think that sums it up for to now. For now, I think that we covered overall the most important aspect of Mutant Mail, how to set it up, what it does, and the benefits of it
Yeah.
in this video.
So I
So,
go
oh,
ahead. Go ahead.
no,
You
no,
go
no,
ahead. You go ahead.
you go ahead.
So I think there's a lot of people did ask a lot of questions, and I think attended this event, and I think we should do a giveaway for them for being engaging and being here. So
Yeah.
what I don't know if how Abhishek feels, but people, I think I don't know, George, would you allow it if I would like to throw a giveaway here? Is it cool?
If
Can you?
Abhishek wants to do it, yeah.
I don't know if Abhishek wants to do it or not. That's why I'm trying to see if he is willing to do it. If not, then
No,
I'll.
see, problem is not starting a giveaway. Problem is I don't have a page set up for giveaway at all at the moment.
No
It is
worries.
not that it is not that I don't want to run it. I do want to run it because it is a
Oh,
very good opportunity, because people, uh, more people will know through giveaway about the Mutant service. It's just I don't have a page set up at the moment to announce it
Yeah,
right off
I'll
bat.
set it up.
Jo-
I'll set it up with him. I'll get in. Let's see what we can cook up.
in fact, in fact, let me tell you a funny story. I don't even have my camera set up at the moment. I'm doing this thing on my phone at the moment. George asked me
nice.
out of blue, "Do you want to do a live explanation of what your service does?" I said, "Please go ahead."
Yeah, it was out of the blue, not planned. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk about the giveaway. See what we can cook up with plans. Having it planned.
All right. So let's wrap this up.
All right, guys. Well, I thank you, Abhishek, for being here. Thanks, Sam, for joining us and
No
helping out here
problem.
on the live event. Like
Thanks.
Abhishek mentioned, this was out of the blue. We just decided to do the live,
Yes,
and it came out well. I think it did well. I mean, we covered the most important aspects of Mutant Mail
yes,
and what you can do with
yes.
it. If you
Yeah,
didn't
and
watch the live stream, if you joined halfway, do check it from the beginning so you see all the setup process, all the settings, what it does, and the benefits of it. There you
and
go.
thank you, George, for giving the platform.
I don't know. Thank you for joining and accepting the invite. All right, guys. Thank you all. This is Master, and I'll see you guys later.
See you guys. Bye, guys.